Hey guys, I'm finally back with a chatty video, and today we are talking about imposter syndrome. So this is something, it's a bit of a buzzword at the moment. It's something that's been going around quite a lot on social media, kind of in the news. It's one of those trends that is becoming spoken about more so. And it's something that I have been asked about on numerous occasions via Instagram, via emails. And so I just wanted to kind of, I guess, give you my take on it. To start with, let's just define what imposter syndrome is. So imposter syndrome is when we basically feel like an imposter in our own world. Now that a lot of the time comes down to our job and what it is we do for a living. It's a place where we don't feel worthy of the job we have. We don't think that we have the right amount of knowledge, and we're constantly looking at others thinking that they know more than us, or that we're gonna get called out for being a fraud. So it's this feeling of being fraudulent in your own life, in your own kind of workspace. So I think the first thing that we need to actually just talk about is that it's okay to feel like that, and actually it's a lot more common than you might think. Now, even the most successful people out there, they'll have feelings of doubt sometimes. They'll have feelings of kind of not quite being sure in their own knowledge. So I think that before we kind of beat ourselves up over this feeling of real self-doubt and feeling like we don't belong in the world that we're in, let's just take a moment to first be like, okay, this is normal, this is okay. And yes, we want to be able to nip it in the bud, and we want to be able to control it, and we need to have the tools in place to do that when those thoughts creep in. But aside from all of that, it is okay and it is normal to have those feelings. I myself have struggled with imposter syndrome. I think especially in the wellness world, in the yoga teaching world, a lot in the yoga teaching world where you are almost, you're credited via the amount of hours that you've trained in. And so that kind of number next to your name sometimes makes you think like, either I've got a high number and I should know more, or my number's not high enough, or whatever it is. And I think that in the wellness sphere, because science is changing so much, or research is constantly changing, there's new studies coming through constantly. And you'll see, especially with social media, there'll be one person talking about one thing and you'll think, gosh, I didn't know about that. And then you're like, well, should I have known about that with the training that I've done? So it is so easy to get stuck into that spiral of thinking that you should know more. Now, like I said, I have felt like an imposter, and you know, at times still do. Now that I'm very much comfortable in my job. I love what I do, and I like to think that I have my kind of work vibe in place in terms of what it is that I put out there. You know, I want to teach yoga and dynamic movement, but I want to do it with feeling, and I want us to be connecting what we do with our bodies and our breath with what is happening in our mind. And of course, there is so much more learning that I can do and will do and should do, but it's okay for me to not be there right now. Always coming back to that reminder that the beauty is in the journey, not in the end goal. So if we just rush ahead and we assume that we know everything about whatever it is that we work within, then really where was the fun and the challenge in getting there? And then what do you have when you get to that end goal? You've then got nothing to work towards. So rather than see, you know, those feelings of maybe doubt as imposter syndrome, I reframe it. So I take that and I reframe it in my mind to think, okay, so I maybe don't feel quite welcome in this space because my knowledge isn't there yet, but what can I do to further my own progress? So for me, that might be, actually, do you know what? I'm gonna take some more time to work on myself. So I'm gonna take some more time doing my meditation, my journaling. And what we have to remember is that as well as learning about the field that we're talking about, as well as learning about the industry that we're in, we need to learn about ourselves. So we need to be curious about ourselves. And the more curious we are about ourselves and the more honest we are about ourselves and the way we live this life, the way we react to things, then the less we will have these feelings of self-doubt and these feelings of being an imposter in our own world, because we understand ourselves that little bit more. Bringing it back to a yoga teaching point of view, because I know a lot of you out there are either in the wellness world or you practice yoga, maybe you're thinking about becoming a yoga teacher, maybe you are a yoga teacher. I would really say tips for dealing with that is just take time. Like I say, there's no point in rushing to the end goal. Enjoy the journey. Never stop being a student. Never stop being a practitioner in yoga, because really when we learn, like I say, about ourselves, but about our own practice, that's when we can really come into a place where we think, okay, so what's my niche? What is it that I put out there that's slightly different to what everyone else is doing? And we don't have to reinvent the wheel, you know? Like, we can be, you know, there's lots of people doing dynamic yoga, linking it with the energetic system and, you know, really bringing in that kind of mind, body, breath thing. There's loads of people doing that. But they're not Cat Meffan, and they're not whoever you are. And, you know, so whatever it is that you're doing, know that you're unique because of you. It's not just about what it is that you're putting out there. It's about that it's coming from you. I'm very handsy today. I feel very passionate about this. Also very sweaty because it's very hot here in Sri Lanka. So try not to constantly compare. You know, imposter syndrome is directly linked to this comparison, and comparison is like a disease that we all have. We all see someone else's life, what someone else is doing, and we think, oh, hold on, they know more than us, or they're doing more than us, they've got more than us, whatever it is. So really, when we can start to step away from a comparison and be really solid within our own lives, open up to the vulnerability that actually, like, you're not where you want to be. You know, you're not at that end goal. You've still got work to do. It's going to be hard. When we allow the acceptance to come in of that vulnerability, then holistically, you know, with everything coming together, we can start to accept ourselves in the space that we're in and feel worthy being there. Feel like we're okay to be there. We're worthy of that place. We are valid within that space because it's what we love, it's our passion. If you wake up every morning and you think, this is what I love and this is what I do, then you're doing the right thing, whether or not you know the answers to every question. And with imposter syndrome, I would really, you know, invite you to feel into a place of being able to say, I don't know. So if you're in the workplace, whatever it is, if you're teaching yoga, whoever you are, wherever you are, if someone asks you a question, say, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but you know what? I really like to know the answer to that. So I'm gonna go and research it and I'll get back to you. And there's real power in that, power in saying, I don't know. Really, really important. So I really invite you to bring that into your dialogue. And then the other tip that I have for this kind of feeling of being fraudulent, being this imposter in your own life, is set yourself goals. You know, like when you've done a little bit of training in your job, or you've done, I don't know, a course or whatever it is, set yourself a little target for the year after and just keep building upon that. If we know that we've got targets and goals to work towards, then we know that we're on the path. We know that we're heading in the right direction and we are going about our journey in the best way that we know how. Every single person is different. Where one person will excel in one thing, they might struggle in others. And again, coming back to comparison, it's so easy to assume through social media that we've all got it all together. You know, like some of you might not think that I would ever struggle with that kind of imposter syndrome and not feeling like I know enough. You would be wrong. You know, I, just like many people, I will scroll through Instagram and I'll see even a friend of mine, you know, writing about something to do with yoga or fitness, and I think, oh gosh, I didn't know that. Maybe I should know that. Does that make me a bad blogger? Does it make me a bad YouTuber? Does it make me a bad yoga teacher? No. It makes me really aware that, first of all, I compared and I need to step away from that. And second of all, there's more for me to learn. And really, that's quite a beautiful thing, knowing that there's more out there for us to learn. So hopefully you found this little chat helpful, and if you are struggling, then, you know, please do comment below if you're happy, if you would like to share your story. I'm sure that there are lots of people watching this that can resonate with both what I'm saying, but also with you as well, the viewer. So I really like to make my YouTube videos, I like to make the comments a little hub of where you guys can all kind of chat and, you know, feel like you are supported in this imposter world. But thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts, and I look forward to seeing you again for another video very soon. Bye bye.